Welcome everyone to another video. My name is Haggart, aka Hags, and today I want to share with you the reality of investing in property. I know the name of it sounds glamorous, property investor, property developer, but unfortunately behind the scenes there are always ups and downs with all these things. I'm going to be sharing with you a few things that pop up along the way, whether it's from the refurb to the purchase, etc., that can somewhat go wrong, but also with every problem there is with investing in property, there's always a solution. So do not get worried. I don't want to put you off in any way, shape or form, but unfortunately this stuff isn't spoken about enough. So starting straight off, and that is funding. I know it sounds very obvious, but believe it or not, people can go into investing in property not actually knowing the cost of things and assuming that they have enough, but in reality they don't have enough. So what does this come down to? Buying a property and not realizing there's all these conveyancing involved, all these agent fees involved, refurb costs, the lot. And people underestimate how much these things can cost, but be very wary of that. And of course, speaking of costs, the refurb cost. I mean, I don't think there's anyone out there that can tell me they know the exact refurb cost of their project. That's what I've always mentioned. You need a cushion of up to around £5,000, just in case if your builder knocks down the wall and sees there's something behind there. Or just basically anything that isn't seen through the line of sight, and of course that eats into the refurb cost. And of course, speaking of builders, finding the right one unfortunately is easier said than done. And I've been very grateful because the way I went about finding a builder, I had 5 that came round to my first refurb. I broke down roughly exactly what I wanted doing, and I wanted to hear what they had to say back to me with the things I've said and how they would go about it, including the timescale, etc. That is very important when finding the right builder, and of course, cost-wise. How much are they charging you? Will they want you to pay in installments, or do they want a large chunk up front? Because these things can add up to becoming a huge red flag. So be very, very wary of finding a builder. It's always worth paying a slightly bit more, because at the end of the day, if they don't do a good job, you've got to go find someone else to fix it, and not only time wasted, but also money wasted. So now, speaking of flipping properties, if you flip properties or you're looking to flip properties, keep this in mind. When you're looking for the resale value of the property, there are plenty of ways, but you will never guarantee exactly how much you will get at the end of it. I always have that £10,000 break in between. So knowing that if the property doesn't sell for the max I'm looking for, if it can sell for the £10,000 less at the worst case, I am still leaving the property behind with a lovely sum of money left over to move on to the next one. And especially in times like this, in this current market, you have to be very, very careful. And then, of course, remember, there are agent fees at the end of it. There are also conveyancing fees at the end of it. Now, moving on to if you're renting a property out. And I have a rental myself, and I've seen this firsthand. Knowing that when you're renting a property out, knowing that there will be problems that will occur. It could be every 2 months. It could be every 3 or 4 or 5 months. But you need to remember, if you are renting a property out and in 1 month you didn't have any problems, save as much of it as possible in another pot where it's part of your savings, but also knowing that that can be there in case something goes wrong with the property. Most of the times, these aren't major issues. I mean, here in front of me, there's a few that have popped up in my property. The most recent one was a leak from the terrible weather, but again, it'll be fixable and these things happen. So again, when renting a property out, don't assume that nothing's going to go wrong with it, because there's always going to be something. I don't know, it's not going to be major, but just remember that. But there we have it. There are a majority of the reality of investing in property. the truth behind it, and a couple of things that just be wary of. And of course, you may go over budget, you may run into a slight problem, but with property, there is always a way to fix the problem. There's never not a way. So everything I've told you today, there's always a solution to the problem. So there we have it. Of course, there may be a few other things that can pop up, but again, nothing major. So don't be worried. So there we have it. If you want to see the full realities of my property investing journey, drop a like down below, and I may bring out a video of a fair few things that I've filmed along the way, which have somewhat been a problem and the solution behind it. So drop a like if you want to see that. But I've been Haggot, aka Hags. Don't forget the name, and I'll catch you in the next video.